Hey, welcome to your day off. My name is Corey, and of course, I sit with my best bud, Tone. What's up, Tone?
What's up, brother?
Today's a nice day.
Dude, I love stories, today's story in particular, because you have a hairdresser who becomes an inventor that kind of really helps our industry in a big way.
No doubt. I'm pretty excited for that as well. An inventor, man. That's something to sit on, isn't it?
Yeah, and the what it takes to get to where she's at right now, and just like any of us, right, in our community, a hairdresser. I mean, it stops where your imagination stops, right?
That's it.
So if you can think it, you can literally make it happen. And
the sky's the limit.
Exactly. Today's her story will be the living proof.
She's looking down at the clouds. She's way up in the sky.
Everyone look it up.
Hey, awesome. So today our guest is Alicia Soulier, and she is, like you said, the inventor, the founder, the CEO, the everything of Salon Scales, which is just she saw the need and she created this product.
Before we get into that, let's get into her.
Yeah, let's learn about Alicia a little bit. So Miss Alicia Soulier, I got it. Welcome to your day off.
Perfect. Thanks so much for having me.
100%, dude. Let's welcome. And I know it took us a little bit to get on, but welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, where are you from? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. Yes, it's a tongue twister, and that is in Canada.
That's another one, right? We've had a few guests from up in that area.
Yep.
We got big dreams. We got big
especially
dreams coming from here.
Yeah, us Southerners from the U.S. My tongue gets tied all the time. So,
whoever thought of that, though, to name a town like that,
right? I mean,
so you grew up there. You grew up there in the Great White North.
Yes, I actually was born in Ontario. I was just outside of Niagara Falls. And my family decided to move to Saskatchewan, and that's where I was basically raised there since 2 years of age, and I've been here ever since.
That's pretty awesome. Where how'd you find the hair world?
I always say it started with Barbie. I was obsessed with, braiding Barbie's hair and doing Barbie's hair, and I knew that I wanted to have a career in hairdressing. So I went to hair school right after high school. I went for it. I got a scholarship. I won a scholarship and went to hair school. And I knew I fell in love from just as an early little child.
So how many hair schools are in Saskatoon?
There is only one now. The only other one closed down. But yeah, there's one now.
So I can see like the hair school Hall of Fame. You have all these like Wayne Gruns, Alicia Soulier, you know what I mean? Like all these big time hairdressers coming out of this little town.
Yeah.
It's amazing, like the people that this little town has produced in our industry, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. So Alicia, so it was a proper school then. It wasn't like part of your high schooling or anything. It was an actual proper
No, it was
school?
an actual school. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So did you go right after high school or did you wait a little bit?
Yeah, I got that scholarship. So I won the scholarship from my high school, and then I went to MC College right after high school.
That's pretty cool. What and then so did you after you went to school and stuff, did you apprentice or what was that path like?
I did. I actually apprenticed for about a year in a salon, a high-end salon here in Saskatoon. And I learned all the things I needed to know to start working for myself. And that's my start. I went right into assisting, which I strongly suggest anybody doing to get a good grasp of how to navigate your way through the industry. But yeah, I did that first and then went off to doing my own thing.
So you went from that salon to working for yourself?
Yeah, I only worked at the salon for 4 years, and then I opened up a chair. I worked for myself for about a year, and then I opened a 10-chair salon when I was 24 years old.
Whoa. So at 23, you went into like, what was it, like a suite kind of thing?
Yeah. 23, I went in as a suite owner. 24, I basically went and built out a 10-chair salon in my city.
Did you think was when you at 23, did you purposefully know that you wanted to open a salon? And did you use that opportunity to open the salon like that 1 year, or
Yes.
was it just like
I wanted to,
that was purposeful?
yeah, out of respect to my boss, I knew I wanted the same color brand. I was using Aveda at the time. And in a small city, I didn't want to build my team and build the relationship with the same supplier underneath his nose. So I specifically went and rented a chair first to build the relationships on my own, and then built up the salon that way, so that like I just didn't want, out of respect to him, ever to, take from what he built for me. I wanted to give him the respect and take that on my own.
And how did he respond when you gave him the news that you were leaving?
I mean, I think it's devastating in general. Like, I think, we have a good relationship now. And even too, when I left, he was very supportive on everything that I needed to do. I think it's just hard because you do want to keep people in your bubble for a long time. And it's just hard when it doesn't work out.
I respect that he was still open to having a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. It was crazy. And even like my first year opening the salon, I'd run out of, certain products. And because we are in a small town, we don't have that product right on the shelf. So I would call him and he would let me come and get product from his salon for my salon. Like, that shows how supportive he was of me.
That's incredible, man. Big hand out to him, man. That's awesome.
So does entrepreneurship run in your family? I mean, at 23 going on your own and then 24 opening up your salon, that's a lot of guts. Where did you get the I guess,
moxie?
Yeah.
I would say not really. I do have an uncle that was an entrepreneur, but I think I was the youngest of two older brothers, and I always had something to prove. I wanted to be just like the boys and do things just like them, and be treated as equal. So I think entrepreneurship was a natural position for me. From playing sports, I was always like the captain of teams, and that taught me how to really develop and teach others to grow. And then from there, I just saw inefficiencies in the business, and I knew that I wanted to do something to solve things. And I think naturally the entrepreneur came out early on. And I think it's a factor of all the things, from how I was raised to the environments I was in to today.
That makes sense. So when you first opened your salon, so here you are 24 years old and you have 10 chairs. Like, when you opened up your door, how many stylists did you have come with you?
I had 3, and 2 of them were brand new stylists. One of them had a clientele, and then myself had a clientele.
Wow. That's pretty intimidating to build a business with just two clientele bases.
Yeah. And our rent was not cheap. So it was a lot of work for free for a while, but it was good.
And sometimes that's what you got to do in order to succeed, right? Get to the next level is to prove yourself and take that risk of, you know what, I might not get paid, but you know what I mean? I'm going to make it happen.
Yeah. I can't even think about that, bringing on a staff like that. And you had like a receptionist and all that good stuff?
I didn't hire a receptionist for the first, I think, 13 to 14 months. I just couldn't afford the receptionist. So we would just take turns answering the phone at that time. I double booked, if not triple booked myself, to bring in as much revenue as possible to help pay those things. And once we got to that point, then we hired a receptionist and then a manager, and then everything else from there.
Kind of fell together then at that point. So how long before you started picking up staff and stuff?
Very quickly. We grew really fast. By time I hit the 4-year mark, I had all 10 chairs filled, and we were close to 1.5 million in annual sales.
Wow.
We were cooking, and I think it came from that small town grit. And I think, a lot of people think you're from the prairies, like you can only charge so much. And I wanted to change that stigma, and I wanted to prove that you can do anything. So really growing myself to a 6-figure hairdresser, that was my big focus with everybody else, was how do I make more and more? And that's what I did. I grew them to be 6-figure hairdressers in Saskatoon.
How did you do that? I mean, how did you change because you also have to change the perspective or the perception, I guess, of your guest as well. Like, yeah, it just sounds very challenging to me. There's a lot of people you have to kind of prove.
I think it comes to like the mindset of your employees, really, and taking that time to really shift their mindset and make them feel more mind positive about being a stylist than saying yes to everybody, just saying yes to the right ones. And what I did is I used to do this thing where I'd said, let me paint a picture for you. This is my favorite way of coaching. I'd say, let me paint a picture. If you went to a doctor and the doctor was telling you how great their weekend was, you wouldn't really think that doctor was very professional, would you? And so if you want to be treated like a professional in this industry, then you need to approach yourself and have dialogues like these doctors so that you can, attract that type of clientele. And so the more that you kind of paint these stories and give analogies and really help coach the mindset of the hairdresser, the faster you're going to find the changes within their chair, and the revenue will come in from there.
Love that. Can you kind of explain what you meant by mind positive? It's kind of a keyword that I stuck on.
Yeah, mind positive. I think we live in an industry that's very easy to get distracted on the negative side, whether stylist is doing better than I am, they're posting this, they're a lot stronger. How do we become mind fit? And how do we be more mind positive? And so challenging yourself every day and giving yourself those mornings where you start off by being positive and be grateful and have gratitude for what you are doing and the customers that are coming in really shifts the mindset. So that's how we usually start a day at the salon was, let's talk about the 3 things you're super grateful for today and the clients that you can't wait to see, more than focusing on the ones that you're, maybe not excited for. And how do we make sure that you're mind positive for the whole day, if not the whole week, if no, the whole month, the year, just be mind positive in general.
I love that.
I love that too. Right.
Yeah.
So did you have meetings every morning before you guys got started? Did you guys have not really meetings, but maybe little powwows or something?
I always coach in real time. So if I saw someone coming in, they looked a little bit down, I'd instantly take some time and give them that 5-minute, make you feel better moment, the inspirational kind of mind positive shift that needed to happen. And I think I would start that daily, and in any aspect of my day, I was very aware when stylists were feeling throughout the day those moments. So I just pull them aside and make them feel better.
I love that. And to be a proactive owner is pretty cool, right?
Mad respect for that.
Right? That's so cool. So what have kind of give our listeners what have some of your challenges been as far as a salon owner, coaching people or just kind of give us some of that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of challenges you're going to have. I think structure is really the hardest thing. I think we hear this over and over where people talk about.
When you say structure, do you kind of mean like systems and stuff?
Yes. I think people talk about structures and systems a lot, and they think that that's the answer to help keep consistency within their business. But I think the biggest thing starts within yourself. I think as a salon owner, you really need to spend time being mind fit for yourself. And if you're giving yourself to all your stylists all the time, you need to find out what do you need, what programs and courses do you need to take to fill your cup up so you can keep doing that. Structure works in both ways. And I think in our industry, the problem is that some of us are so creative mindset that even the thought of structure is it's crippling. So
like kryptonite,
right? You're like, I can't do this.
Feel constricted.
Right. So I think just being honest with, people through the process and saying, I want to put things down to kind of measure to see what I'm doing is right. And maybe this is the direction we might go in, but I need to try this. Whatever it is, I think for me, the biggest obstacle I had was structure. And because I'm a creative mindset, I had a hard time navigating how to say yes or no to certain things. So I'd say that was my biggest thing, is just separating myself from those big decisions.
I love that. So did you recommend classes or something to your staff that weren't hair based, like how to do a balayage or how to do whatever? What's that process look like for you?
Yeah, so I always encouraged my staff to take education. So they always would take, cutting, color education, a couple courses a year. They had to take three technical classes a year. So between cuts and colors and styling, they had to take 3 courses a year, whether they were in Saskatoon or outside. And then we always did things as a team. So what I did was I got us to go and get classes with like a meditation specialist, and like we went and did like yoga. And I remember having like a pretend staff meeting, but then I had my friend come in and do yoga. And so doing stuff like that, just so that we can like figure out how to be, again, mind positive, but how to give back, to make sure that people are healthy to get through what they need to.
That's awesome. So on the other 3 classes a year, when they go out and receive education, would you set up something where they would come back and share amongst the rest of the salon, or?
Yes. I think it's really important to encourage others to share what they've learned and share it immediately. If you don't use it, you lose it. We know that. So I think it's important when they go to this outside education to be celebrated and to let them have that 5 minutes in a staff meeting, or let them share those moments so that they can grow taller. And I think you got to look at planting the seeds within your company so that people have a voice, so that it goes beyond you, so that you can, keep growing and keep having strong roots with people that know that they can have a voice and they can share what they've learned too.
What's that old saying? Best way to learn is to teach.
Yes.
Yep. So it's a reinforcing, what they learned on their outage. So what, as a salon owner, what kind of challenges have you faced?
I think that the biggest one was staying behind my chair and working for my business. Working in and out of the business is a very big challenge. And I think, I've heard Gina talk about this on your podcast, and it's this ego that you have, that you feel like everybody needs you, and you're consistently trying to be there for everybody. And the reality is you can't. And I think just learning what are these key performance indicators in my business that move forward without me there. And when you start to focus on that, and you start to focus on how do you keep moving those levers to keep providing a more powerful business, then it gives you more confidence to step away from the chair and focus just on those key performance indicators. And that truly took me about 3 years to get to that position. But then I pulled myself into a position where I was just running the business instead of working in it.
That's got to be scary, though.
I know. I was having anxiety when she was saying
right.
it, But I think that's part of the process too, that anxiety, because I'm sure hers was crazy too.
It's even harder in a small town, and you go to get groceries and you see your angry clients being like, why aren't you still doing hair? And you're like, oh God.
You're like, okay, I will. I'll meet you there.
Yeah, now I drive to the other town for groceries. That's
right. She's in hiding. Oh my God, that's hilarious. So other than like personal challenges, what challenges did you find in the industry, or how the systems that we've set up as an industry? Like, did you find challenges with those?
Yes. I think our entire financial model in a salon is flawed. And I knew this after years and years of not having the cash flow in my business, not finding out, we'd build these big days and have all this revenue in, but by the time I paid the stylists, by the time I paid the bills, there was really no cash flow in the business. And that's, when I looked at it, I was like, something needs to change. I couldn't handle having a 4%, between 4 and 8% profit margin, I think is the average. And it just is sad. Like, I couldn't live in an industry that a salon only had that as profit. So that made me start to, like, the entrepreneur in me start to think, like, what are we doing that we can change this? And how do we build a new financial model that provides a higher profit margin? And that kind of led me to really Salon Scale. So
kind of give us the breeze over of what Salon Scale does and how it's helped your business.
Perfect. So I think the biggest thing was every day when you go and mix color, I had the same problem as everybody else. You go and mix the color, you don't really know how much you're using, and then you go to charge the customer and you're like, yeah, 150 I think is good, but you don't really know if you use $10 of color, you don't know if you use 2 or 27. And so you're just charging the customer. And what we call in business, that's the bottom line. That's consistently unpredictable. And I don't know a single other business that runs where they don't manage their cost of goods. And that kind of was about 2 years ago that I thought, it's like we just need an update in technology. It's like we just need a new scale. And that's when I was like, holy crap, we just need a new scale. So essentially, Salon Scale it's the most simplest thing ever. It's just an app that when you select the tube that you're using, it picks it up like a Bluetooth connection and says exactly how much it is to the gram. That's what it does.
Whoa. So, okay. I'm confused by this. So it talks to Bluetooth through the app on your phone or on your software.
Yep.
And then, so you pick up like a 5N.
Yep.
Right. And then help me out. How does it know? So
we program the whole app for you. So whatever color line you're using, we have it in the app. And let's say you're using 6N. You will press 6N and squeeze it into the bowl. And in real time, it's going to send it over to the app and tell you with a Bluetooth connection, it'll send it over and it'll tell you exactly the cost per gram.
Whoa. And then will it'll also tell you waste at the end? Are you measuring at the end of the service as well?
Well, you know what? We are a cost management solution more than a waste management solution. But if you can imagine, in time, you actually will waste less. And I kind of say it's kind of like the whole Starbucks theory. Like if you spent $7 on a thing of Starbucks, like you're going to hold on to that crap all day. Like you're going to hold on to the Starbucks cup until it's like cold. You'll reheat it because you spent $7 on it, right? And so by being able to see the actual cost of a bowl, stylists naturally start to use less because they know that's going down the drain because they associate it with a dollar value more than just not knowing. And so what I find is actually these salons are starting to use less and less color per application because they know how much it's costing and they don't want to throw down $10 down the drain because they know how much it costs.
That's brilliant.
It is kind of brilliant. Remember, one of the lessons that our old boss, Reg Laws, gave me was that when you throw color in the trash, the only one that makes money are the color companies, right? Yeah. The salon's not making money, and the stylist isn't making money. So the only one that's making money is the big corporations, essentially, right?
Always. So, and the corporations are the ones that told us how to price our services too, right? So if you think it's we're getting told how to price our colors by the people who are charging us for the color. So it doesn't make sense on a financial model. And by giving salons, stylists, the power to see how much things are costing, we now invert the system. We now put the power back into the salons to make the decision on what they should be buying, how much they should be charging for it, and how to keep up with the supply.
Yeah, and if you are a stylist, it's very important for you to get into that habit for your salon owner, because one day you might be Alicia and decide that you're going to go on your own and go in the studio. And that way you already have the good habits of, saving color, right?
Yeah, 100%, right?
Well, and even too, for the stylists, it's the word transparency. Our industry needs transparency more than ever. And your customers really need to know what they're paying for. So now knowing that they're only being charged for what they're using instead of some blanket flat fees, they're going to be a lot more loyal to you. And then not only that, we do produce a digital color record. So these stylists are now going to be able to have an actual record of the color that they're using. So they'll have their formula saved. And the customers, they're already doing this in every other industry. If they go and get groceries, they're getting charged by weight. If they go and get ice cream, like you're getting charged by weight. And if they get work done on their vehicles, they're already separating parts from labor. Every other industry, it's time that our industry starts to separate the parts from labor as well.
Love that. Well, that holds you accountable, right? If you're charging your client by weight and they see you throwing stuff away, it's not going to take too long for them to be like, wait a sec, I paid for that.
Right.
Right. So, okay. Nuts and bolts. Ready?
Yep.
Like how much are you charging in your salon? Are you charging by the ounce or by the gram or what is that? And then how do you mitigate or manage that?
So what we do is we have one formula and it's parts plus labor equals price. So what we do is Salon Scale is going to tell me how much it costs per gram or per ounce. So let's say a customer, it cost me $12.50 and I charge $50 an hour and I took 2 hours, I would charge $112.50 to the customer.
So you're not charging the customer any, like you talk about car parts, they always up the car parts. So you're just charging them what that color is.
I think you should make money on every aspect. So as far as a markup on your color, I suggest a markup as well on that color. That allows you to have a lot more flexibility on stocking your shelves. And when you think about retail, I mean, there's no questioning it. You do a markup on retail because you need it to sit on the shelf and you need it to turn. So color is no different. And we need to have a markup on color because we need to make sure that the color sitting on the shelf is paid for, not just going to go in the garbage.
Got it. So are you are you charging, like if it's a $10 tube, are you charging $20 for that tube,
Yes.
or to your client as well?
I
Or
highly
then
suggest yes.
portion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or a portion of that, right? So if they use a half a tube, that would be a $10 charge.
Yeah, and then they would just, you'd mark it up whatever value you want, 50, 100% markup, as long as it has a little margin to it, that produces cash flow in your business to keep supporting, new intros, new color lines, new products, because essentially, like I said, that 8% profit margin, that's a pretty standard average. It's not enough money to keep investing back in the industry, so we need a new revenue model. That's why we created this model.
Also love it too, because especially when you start talking about Vivid's colors, they're way more expensive per ounce than say like tube color. So it's really, and you can set that aside, right? Like, what it is. So like, it's like, okay, well, this tube cost me whatever, $20 a tube or whatever the math is, but you can break it down by product as well.
And we can tell you which bowl it was in too. So those vivid colors, we've never really had something that tracks it down to the gram. So like if you wanted that, aquamarine purple that you handmade, you now have the exact formula so that the next time that customer comes in, you now can do the exact color again. Whereas Vivids are very creative. So we say color your way and leave the rest to us. Whatever way you want to color, we'll track it and we'll tell you how much it costs. And then you can either do the color again, or you have a good history of what you've been using.
Dude, that's brilliant. I don't even do color and I'm excited.
I know, it's so crazy, isn't it? All right, Alicia. Now I'm gonna take you back. So now, how in the hell did a hairstylist standing behind the chair, and not to say that we're idiots, but like, how'd you figure out like the technology of it? What help did you get? Like that blows me away, man.
Well, you definitely have to have a lot of guts to take on this industry. And both industries, between the salon industry and the tech industry, there's a lot of working pieces. But I think what happened was I saw a window, and that moment I had that light bulb moment, and I saw that there was an opportunity to fix it. I went straight to a third-party builder. So I found a company that builds local apps, and I went there and had a meeting with them. And within a week, I had them already working on the prototype. We already trademarked the name Salon Scale, and we were ready to build our first prototype. And again, I think it came down to that is I knew that this was the smallest window, and I had to jump. And it cost me my life savings, and it cost me to jump, but I knew that it was the one thing that I wanted to leave a mark on this industry. What was my purpose? And this was truly guiding me to that inner purpose, that inner why. Why do I want to exist in this industry? And to be able to help salons become more profitable, to help stylists feel more empowered when they're making color decisions, and really truly change the way that the salons are charging for services is exactly what mark I wanted to make in this world. So I jumped, and when I did, I didn't look back, and I got this company to build me a good MVP product. And you guys, when I saw that for the first time, when I saw a pen put on a scale and it told me how much that was in Olaplex, I almost died. I was like, oh my goodness, this is the future right here. It was incredible.
Did you start crying? Because I kind of got choked up when you were telling that story watching.
I did. I actually cried. And it was just surreal because, in those moments, like, people don't know about that. And I'm glad you asked this, because I had a team of developers come into my salon. I mixed colors in front of them. They would watch and they would study and they would see how we did things. And the one thing I asked was, please don't make this too technical. Like, this is the most creative aspect of our business. We cannot make this overly complicated or people will not use it. And I am just so proud of how it worked out. And when it came through, I knew that everything would change from there.
That's what you just said is genius. If it's too complex or too complicated, we're not going to do it. You
Yeah.
know, I mean, honestly, Alicia, like I was around when we were like just, you know, squirting an inch here, squirting an inch there, you know, even the scales was like a transition that we had to do, you know, early on. And people found that was too complicated.
Yeah.
I loved it. I love the scale. I still use the scale all the time.
What's great is that, especially with her product, if you're short of color, you can add two. So next time it'll know exactly how much you need.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
Yes, we have the whole ordering thing down, and that's where I see the future going, you know, being able to automate the system. I don't think anyone should have to rip a tube or call an order in at all. I think this whole industry should be automated, and it's screaming for a disruption, and I'm knocking on the door to make it happen.
I love that. I'm surprised none of the color companies aren't in bed with you. I mean, you know, especially if that's the next thing. You know, if you're gonna pre-order color, then you know, that only benefits them as well,
right?
You know. Okay, so all right, a couple holes in your story.
Yep.
So not in your story, but just kind of if you can kind of explain this through. So it's not just an app, right? So you had to have a physical scale made as well, and that scale then had to talk to. Were there even Bluetooth scales available? And if there was, why were they around?
Yeah, so when I had that like, holy crap, it's a scale moment, I went on Amazon and I bought 7 Bluetooth kitchen scales. And that's where it started, was testing all 7 of them. Now, what I learned on the technical side was they all had a different Bluetooth standard. So what that means is I couldn't build one app to talk to all of them unless I wanted to spend like over $100,000. So I picked one of them. And the one I picked was a scale just from China that essentially talks to our app, and we give them free with subscriptions, because that's another thing, is I didn't want to have salons having to buy a ton of hardware as well. So we give it free with your subscription.
I love that. You know,
that's brilliant.
Yeah. How many scales do you give? You give just one, and then are more scales available to purchase if I just answered your question, or maybe I didn't. I don't know. Go ahead. My question.
Yeah, so we give you your first one on us, and any additional one, we sell them. We also have distributor partnerships. So one of them being like Cow Corporation. They have our scales as well. So you can purchase it from a retailer like that, or you can purchase it from us.
Just making things so simple.
Yeah.
You know,
it's just another opportunity to keep the money in the stylist or the salon owner's pocket.
Exactly. All right. Hot seat time. You ready?
I'm ready.
So skeptical salon owner, right? Mm-hmm. So how do I know that my monthly fee isn't now eating up that money that I'm supposed to be saving?
Well, it's very simple. If you basically just take the amount of color you're purchasing in a month, with our app, we can give you that back in profit. So if you spend, $1,200 a month in color and you mark up that color 100%, you're now going to get $1,200 a month back using our financial system. So Salon Scale, ultimately what you're paying for is the data. You're paying for the simplicity and the basically ability to see what is moving from each stylist or moving in and out of that salon. So whether you're an independent or a salon or a franchise, we've really made it so that you're going to get everything with your subscription and more back to make those decisions so that you can make way more profit. And I've seen one of our biggest salons has increased their profit by $45,000 this year.
Holy cow.
$45,000 just from using our product.
Wow, that is amazing.
And then we also have Josie Valet is one of our customers as well. And Josie's increased her sales by $22,600. She just went and did a post about it, and she loves it too. It's just one of those things, I think, when people find out what Salon Scale actually does for their business, there isn't a question about the subscription.
So does the subscription is under the salon, and then every stylist gets to download an app from it? Or, I mean,
yes. So
salon, one account?
Yep. So the admin or the owner of the account has the information, and then they give access to their staff to have a user account with the salon that they work at.
I love this, man.
Yeah, it couldn't get any easier than that.
Nope, not at all, right? And then you said it actually stores the formulas and stuff too inside the app.
Yeah, so we store formulas by customer so that you always have that history. We also store how much color you're using per day, per month. And then we also do suggestive ordering. So you can print off a shopping list of everything you've used that day, that week, that month, so that it makes it very easy to do an order. You just email that to your rep and there's your order.
Boom, love that. I use Redken and I love Redken. And my question to you as kind of like a third person between the color and between my salon, or second person or whatever, like Shades is always releasing new colors. So how long does it take before those new colors make it onto your platform?
Well, we're really lucky. 3 of our distributors are Redken based distributors. So color lines that are a little bit more popular, like Redken, we get the updates within a day max. So as soon as we get it implemented and it's done instantly. So the downtime of a new shade, we usually get the information before it even launches, so we can launch that.
So it'll be in your software before it's even available to the public?
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Again, you're probably busy, you're a salon owner, you're a solopreneur, you're too busy to focus on what the inventory is doing. So we want to do it for you. These are things that automation and technology can do, but we need to just start building it and making it that way. So it should be up to us to make sure things are updated instead of the busy salon owner that's doing 100 jobs anyways.
I love this. I kind of I want to get my hands in on it now,
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Like it sounds awesome, but like until you kind of physically do it and go, oh, that was really easy, that's
right.
kind of whatever. Well, that's pretty cool.
What's next? I mean, what's next on Salon Scale platform? I mean, what are you guys up to right now?
So we're up to lots. We just actually raised a big seed round of funding. So we raised $1 million with some.
Congratulations.
Thank you. That took me a long time to learn how to actually pitch the product. I had to pitch it in front of 400 people. I had to pitch in front of individuals. So it was really empowering. Again, you talked about me being behind my chair. And if I would have known a year later, I'd be pitching for millions of dollars. That was an incredible shift in my life, but I knew that I had to fight for the industry. So I'm very thankful that converted and that's come in. So now we have a team of 10 here in Saskatchewan that are growing this product. So what's next for us is we are changing up our app a little bit with the feedback from our customers. So we're basically making it look prettier. And we are adding more features into the dashboard to make it easier for people to onboard themselves. And then we are working into the future. And when I talked about that ordering, that's our relationships with our distributors, and we want to make more relationships with our software companies to be able to integrate with them, because I think these are great. It's a great perk for the customer. So we could send over the cost to the POS system, and the POS system would send the customer list to us. So basically, we're focusing on integrations and partnerships as we keep scaling our product this year.
Alicia, and back up. So how long have you been in business? How long from when you had that idea, when you're like, oh, we got to do a scale? How did you scale the scale?
Like that, so 2 years ago was when I had my light bulb moment, but we launched our product June 8th of 2018. So we have just been around for about a year and a half. And we've had over 1,000, we're almost at 1,100 salons that have signed up for our product. And we're scaling really, really, really fast. No pun intended on the scale.
No, go with it.
But
Alicia, that's incredible.
Growing fast.
Talk about a go-getter. Hey, I got an idea. 2 years later,
boom.
How you like me now?
How you like me now?
That is incredible. I guess it's sort of like, hey, I just got out of hair school. All right, I'm gonna go assist, work at a salon. Boom, I own a salon. You know what I mean? By the time she's 24, that's no joke. I mean, my hat's off to you, honestly. I mean, you.
Oh, thank you.
Like we talked about earlier, like somebody, from a hairdresser to an inventor to, I mean, you are a go-getter. Mad respect.
Mad. I kind of like, hey, Alicia, next time you have a light bulb moment, let us know. Maybe Tony and I want to invest early.
Right.
That's really, really, dude. I'm like, it's an incredible idea. It's an incredible product. Conceptually, obviously, I haven't played with it, but just like, just so cool. And again, I can't believe how quick this turnaround was. You know, especially when it comes to technology and stuff. You know, just to get the technology down usually takes a few years. I can't believe that you know you're 6 months in or something, or you know 9 months in, and you're already launching a product. That's incredible.
Yeah. I don't have nothing else to say.
Hats off.
I'm in all of
you.
Well, I have to say, I also got into a local accelerator. So I got into a program called Collabs, which is a technical incubator for startups. And I was competing against 30 startups, and I actually won. I won that. So I was proud. Thank you. I was the only female. I was the only non-tech, and I was the only one in the beauty industry. So I think I won against people that were doing like AI and like all this crazy technical products. But I think because, again, the reason why I think it's scaling is because it's the timing of everything. And since Instagram has changed the game of our world, and we look at that 10 years ago, you know, we started coloring hair completely differently. And that's why this all kind of propelled to today, I think, and why it's hitting the market at the right time, because people are seeing this massive loss in their back bar. And I think they're seeing how easy this solution is. And that's what's really propelling it to go fast.
Is there a way to kind of like, I mean, other product shortage areas, would it be possible to do like with back bar, with shampoo, with conditioner? Is that something you guys have thought about, or is it even possible, or would you have to weigh it out and just make it all complex, too complex?
I think in all honesty, I think every product manufacturer has different kickbacks. So some people are paying for their back bar products, some people aren't. Some people are getting 20% off, some people are. So there's a lot of logistical errors that are kind of happening there that needs to be corrected. So I think color is the first way to actually fix this issue in the supply chain. So once you kind of get through the automation and you have that whole distribution channel lined up and the logistical ordering, then for sure you can get to any other product in a salon and automate the whole thing. If it can be scanned and it can be measured, it can be managed. So that's the only thing we need to get to, is if we can measure it, we can manage it.
Talk about a solution for a problem.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. You know, because I guess, like she said, the timing was everything, right?
Yeah, because color waste has been a salon owners
conversation forever.
You know what I mean? That's something that they've been trying to figure out how to, you know, cut back on waste. And
boom,
you know what I mean? Once you know, you put everybody what the cost is in everybody's eyes, and it'll automatically happen. I like it.
Yep. It's a way of doing it without managing it.
Right.
It's awesome. Alicia, I again, like Tony, I'm in all of what you're up to and what you're doing, and just and the creative gonads to go out there and get it. It's amazing too. You know, I think it was Ray Kroc that said, the owner of McDonald's, I think he said, there's never been $1 million idea. There's only been $1 million effort. And you know, and I commend you for that, because, you know, it's one thing to have I've had 1 million ideas, and, you know, nothing's done with them. I don't have a scale. I don't have a salon scale with that.
You have this podcast, which is incredible as well.
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you so much for just sharing not only your journey, but, you know, Salon Scale with us. I can't wait to see how this thing, you know,
I know,
revolutionize the industry.
I've got a side eye on it now,
right?
You know,
Yep.
I can't wait.
Well,
we can say, we know Alicia. We knew her early on. She was in like a year and a couple months when we met her. Dude, congratulations. Big kudos to you. Big kudos to what you're up to. And you know, thanks for saving the industry money, because I think when it comes down to it, especially as we get more and more independence, you know, and the salon, the hardest thing to do is like you said, to get out of that 4 to 8%. And you certainly are giving an avenue to do that. And so I commend you for that. And thank you very much. Thanks from the industry, I guess.
Thank you.
Dude, Alicia Soulier.
You got it.
Thank you very, very much for joining us on your day off.
Thank you.
Hey, so there it is. Hey, this is a message that we've been trying to bring, I don't know, for the last couple months, actually since we started the podcast. Hey, so if you like the podcast or if you find that it's useful, please leave us a review, a 5-star review on iTunes. Leave us a rating and a review.
But if you don't like it, forget about it.
Yeah, totally forget about this message. We also want to thank Sarah and Blaine from Pretty Gritty. Sarah and Blaine, they are a band out of Portland, Oregon, and we just want to thank them very much for allowing us to use their song, Pleased to Meet You, on our podcast. That's cool. I think you can find, actually you can find their music on iTunes.
Peace and hair grease.